That we're building is a conservation community, and it's composed of 3 small mixed-use residential hamlets. And so within that hamlet lifestyle, it's a little bit different than when you're normally living out in the country. You're pretty far from your neighbors, but when you're living in a hamlet clustered style, you're a bit closer, you have a bit more integration, so it's really trying to promote community relationships.
How many houses are going to be in the community?
77. Okay. 77 homes.
Why do you take risks?
Why do I what?
Why do you take risks?
Why do I take risks? Because I don't have any other option. No, to be honest, I'm not much of a risk taker. I'm pretty conservative when it comes to taking risks. But I think for people to do things differently and for innovation to happen, people need to take those risks for things to evolve in culture, the way we do things. So that's why I would take risks, I would say, to see new ideas and new innovation come about.
What risks are you willing to take?
What risks am I willing to take? Okay, well I can talk about 2 levels of risks. So on a professional level, our risks that we take are, we go ahead and we drive through the permitting process and the preliminary layout approval process, and we go ahead and we assume that we're going to be getting those approvals, but there's no guarantee that we're going to get those approvals. So for example, right now we're putting in a road, and where that road goes through is Terrace and Gas has a big pipeline, and they may say, we don't want your road to go in, but we need that road to go in or else no one's going to be able to get to their homes. And then on a personal level, I do a lot of skateboarding and snowboarding and surfing, and there's a lot of risks inherited with falling, but I don't know, if you don't fall, you land the trick and it feels great, so it's kind of a one-off.
What are you trying to improvise in your community?
What am I trying to, Rich, sorry?
Improvise?
Well, we're not really trying to improvise anything. We're really trying to create things. So, what would you like to see more in the neighborhood that you live around? So something I really liked, I lived in Europe for a long time, and I loved riding my bike. And there was these amazing bike trails, so I didn't have to worry about getting hit by cars. And so I would bike around, and then I'd go to the park, and there'd be a ping pong table. So I'd bring my ping pong paddle and my balls, meet with friends, play ping pong. And I thought, this is the coolest thing ever. So little things like that I would like to bring in. So right now with our one hamlet, we're designing a whole bunch of agricultural plots. So people can kind of come together, do some hobby farming and gardening, and start to chat and create some kind of social interaction. Well, when I was younger, I didn't think I'd ever go to university. I just wanted to skateboard. Well, I started falling and getting hurt, and I started realizing, man, I'm not gonna make much money at this. I gotta change my lifestyle. But I love those things. But I'm just forgetting about it as a professional career. So he asked, when we're building the community, do we check for other living organisms? So our property that we're developing is very big. It's 1,000 acres. And we did an extensive 3-year study on all the environmental impacts, cataloging what animals are there, what sensitive habitats are there. And then based on all of that research, we decided that 85% of the whole piece of land would be used for conservation. And the areas that were the most sensitive and excellent, we would keep those away from where the human footprint, where the development is happening. And then the areas that there wasn't as many animals and the trees had been cut down, then those are the areas that we chose to build the homes and build the agricultural areas. Want to build a new community? Did you ever build a fort when you were younger with your friends? It's like building a big fort. It's a lot of fun. You start with finding a good location. And from that location, we would look at what has been deemed as the most appropriate land use. So with land, there's people that say, you know, this land is for agriculture, this land is for forestry, this land is for people, et cetera, et cetera. So then our next step was to rezone the land from forestry. The area was originally zoned to be just clear cut. So we said, oh, you know, there's such a pretty island that we have, and if we keep cutting, we're not going to have any nice trees left. So we wanted to rezone it to something that is going to preserve that area a little bit more. The pros and cons of what we have done. The pros are that we're taking an approach to development that's very different and is truly more reflective of society. sustainability's broader goals, such as incorporating economic development, providing a good social background, and then preserving the environment. And the cons are that the regulatory agencies see this as so abstract, it's very difficult for them to sign off and give approval for what we want to do. And that turns into this whole huge argument about politics and governance. But for the most part, I would say that those are the two things that I really like what we're doing, but it's so radical and new, it's hard for people to adjust to getting